Well, greetings and blessings to everyone. I hope that you're having a great Saturday. I had to come live. I had some things. I was just doing some just reading and stuff like that. You know, you always come across gems when you read. So today I just want to share with you some of the things that I came across out of the Washington Bee, which was a newspaper long ago. The Washington Bee. This newspaper article was in 19. Let's see. 1896, the Washington Bee. And this is, to me, an exclusive. This is one of those times when you find information, you be like, wow, 1896, as a matter of fact. We're talking about December the 25th for this particular one. This is from the Washington Bee, and this is a gem. This is really a gem. I mean, when you find information like this, and what I plan to do is to go and find this information, bring it to you, and then you can read it for yourself. I think that's the best thing anyone can do. And if you would like to have a copy of this very article that I'm about to read from the Washington Bee, December 25th, 1896, if you want an article of this, let me know. Put your email in this particular uh, chat group, and I will make sure I can get this over to you. You take your time, you read it, and you tell me about it. Because we know at one time, before we had the internet and all this great way of communicating, the newspaper was the internet of that time. If it wasn't printed in the newspaper, it wasn't true. So this is a newspaper article that I'm going to share with you from December the 25th, 1896. And this made me light up a little bit. I'm just going to be honest with you. It made me light up after reading it and finding out, like, wow, really, is this really what I'm reading? And it's very special. I'm gonna get right into it. For those of you who are coming on, I want to say thank you for coming on today. I know this is a no notice type of thing. I found this article and I wanted to share it with you, and I want to get right into it. So this is the title of the article. It's the Washington Bee. Okay, Friday, December the 25th, 1896. It says, Gems from the Quarries. John G. Jones, 33rd Chicago Color Mason, is now recognized by the white Shriners to be the first and only legitimate Shriners in the United States, and having the power and authority to confer the Shriner's degree in established temples. That's printed in the Washington Bee, December the 25th, 1896. Hear me again, because I'm going to read this again. I really need you to hear what this newspaper article is saying, is because we must understand at that time, newspapers were the internet. They were the carrier of information. They was the it factor. And it says in the Washington Bee, December the 25th, 1896, this is what it says. Jim from the Quarries. John G. Jones, 33rd of Chicago Color Mason, is now recognized by the white Shriners to be the first and only legal mystic shrine in the United States, and having the power and authority to confer the Shriner's degree in established temples. That's what it says. I'm going to finish this article, but take that into note. So for those brothers of the craft who are ancient Arabic order nobles of the Mr. Shrine, take that. Take that for instance. Just let that marinate just for a second. We're talking 1896, December 25th. That's what we're talking about. Now I'm gonna go on with this here. Check this out. Within the past 2 weeks, a large numbers of white Shriners and Masons and other departments of Freemasonry have been in the state of Constitution in the city of the Masonic circles of the Department of the highest degrees. It has now leaked out and tuned out to be true that the white Shriners say it is true that they must acknowledge the same. They had a conference in Washington, D.C. to see if it was true that John G. Jones was a legitimate Shriner and had the authority to issue charters to temples. And I'm cracking up. I'm cracking up. You know, Dwight Davis, I'm going to make sure I get this over to you. Give me just a second. I'm going to write down your email and I will send it over to you. So if you want this particular article, give me just a second. I'm going to get something. I'm going to write it down, your email down, and I will get this over to you today. So give me just a second. Let me write this email down here for Brother Dwight Davis here. Davis. I'm going to get this email to you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put my email in here also, where you can email me and remind me also for this same article. So if you want to email me for this information, here's the email address. Okay, email me there because I see quite a few people are beginning to put their email in here. So today we're talking, just so you can get in and hear what I'm clearly saying. I'm saying to you, according to this newspaper article, December 25th, 1896, it was a proven fact that John G. Jones, ancient Arabic order nobles of the Mystic Shrine, was the only legitimate Shriners in the United States. In this newspaper article, and I read you two parts of that. The first part stated that John G. Jones, 33rd Chicago, colored Mason, is now recognized by the white Shriners to be the first and only legal mystic shrine in the United States in having the power and authority to confer the Shriners' degrees and establish temples. That's part one. Part two goes on and states, within the past 2 weeks, a large number of white Shriners have been Masons in other departments of Freemasonry have been meeting in the state of Constitution, that's Washington, D.C., okay, of the various departments, and have been have come up to the highest Masonic pitch. It now has leaked out, and it turns out to be true that the white Shriners say that it is true that they must acknowledge the same, that John G. Jones is a legitimate Shriner of this city and who is the imperial potentate for the colored Shriners in the United States. That's what they said. That's part two. That's part two to this article. And I'm finding this to be like, wow, this right here is interesting. It's interesting, because we've heard so much in regards to the Shriners and all of this stuff. And I'm letting you know today, according to the Washington Bee, okay, December 25th, 1896, they're clearly saying that John G. Jones, that man, that guy, is the legitimate imperial potentate for the shrine, and is hereby recognized as such. Now, let's go a little farther and see what else this newspaper article has. All right. It says, who is also the sovereign grand commander of the United Supreme Council, Grand Orient of Washington, D.C., and who is a prominent lawyer of Chicago bar and leading man among his people, was the first and only Mason in the United States to have a patent of power and authority to confer this sublime degree of the mystic shrine. That's part three. They're saying, look, he is the sovereign grand commander of the United Supreme Council at that time, 1896. Okay? So they acknowledge two things. They acknowledge, one, that he's the only Shriner, okay, that can issue patents in the United States. That's number one. Number two, they said he is the most puissant sovereign grand commander for his United Supreme Council. They acknowledge both of those, okay? I believe this was due to the final lawsuit. No, we're talking 1896, bro. The lawsuit didn't come about until 1920. The lawsuit didn't happen until 1920. This is 1896, December the 25th, Washington B. You can go look this up for yourself. All right. This is what this is about. This had nothing to do with a lawsuit at all. You must realize the ancient Egypt Arabic nobles of the Mystery Shrines were the one who got sued, not the ancient Arabic order nobles of the Mystery Shrine. That organization for which I'm a part of did not get sued. Okay? Now just go back, read it for yourself, and we'll have that conversation. So, okay, let's say you're saying wonderful. John G. Jones is a Prince Hall Mason at that time, okay, and he's recognized by the white Shriners at that time as being the legitimate one. You also have to realize at that same time, John G. Jones is the most puissant sovereign grand commander of a whole nother United Supreme Council. And then I know they're going to say, well, that has nothing to do with the Masons. That has nothing to do with the Blue Lodge. To a certain degree. To a certain degree. If you have that agreement that says that members of my Grand Lodge can join your Supreme Council, then that's cool. But if you don't have that agreement, where do the membership of John G. Jones Supreme Council comes from, since he is the most sovereign Grand Commander? Think on that for a minute. Wishful, at this time, John, yes. All right, let's go on down. I got something else for you too. Let's go ahead and go on with this here. All right. Then it goes on to say, he's a prominent lawyer of Chicago, Illinois bar, leading man amongst his people, and was the first and only Mason in the United States to have a patent of power and authority to confer this sublime degree of Masonry. Brother Jones got his patent and power from the Grand Council of Arabian, which is the foundation, which is the found in the head of the mystic shrine, and the degree was conferred upon him by a Turk, T-U-R-K, named, they're going to give you the name of the Turk. It was a Turk who bestowed this degree upon him. So you guys can say whatever you want to say. Oh, it's a legend. No, this is not a legend. He was received by a Turk, T-U-R-K, named Rafael Parsh. It's R-O-F-E-L-T Parsh, P-A-S-H-A, a deputy from the Grand Council of Arabian in 1893 at the Chicago World's Fair, okay? And then it goes on to say, just exactly the same that is used, they're saying that the black Shriners use the exact same rituals as the white Shriners. The differences about the legalities, the legitimacy of the works is done by William J. Florence, okay? 33rd, a prominent white Mason of New York, got his mystic shrine work while he was visiting Arabian, okay, and brought the works back to America. And then it says, and placed it in the hands of Dr. Walter M. Flemings, 33rd, okay, who is another distinguished white Mason in New York. And in 1871, the mystic shrine degree was conferred on several other prominent white Masons. June 16, 1875, Mecca Temple was established. But the trouble is now that William J. Flemings and Dr. Flemings is not the only white shrine in this country, even had the power. So they're questioning if they even had the power to do the works. That's number 4. Okay, then it goes on to say, or grant patents to form grand councils of Arabian to do the work in the United States. Brother Jones last week presented, check this out. This is number 5. This is the kicker right here. This is the one that's going to get you the 3 points over the goalpost. It says that Brother Jones last week presented his patent from the Grand Council of Arabian to the Committee of the White Shriners, and they declared it to be genuine and legal. And the White Shriners was called upon to produce their patent of power and authority, and the council could not. And they not having any, that puts Brother Jones and the color Masons to the forefront of being the first and only legitimate Shriners and power and authority to do the works in the United States, 1896. They met December the 11th, 1896, to make sure. Did he have the patent? He proved it, and produced it. I'm just saying, this information right here, this is a gem from the quarries. Let me tell you, this is a gem from the quarries. Oh yeah, it gets even, man, you don't even know. I mean, when you go back and dig up this stuff and you find out what was going on then, it's like, wow. So once again, if you want this information, you can hit me up. My email address is in there. You can also go and look this up for yourself. It is the Washington Bee, Friday, December the 25th, 1896. Think about that. This is what they said about Jones. They said that the guy is legitimately who he say he is. Period. Ancient Arabic order nobles of the Mystery Shrine. He's that guy. Okay? He's that guy. All right? So I just need you to go back for a second and just check that out, and see if it's true or not. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm going to share something else with you in just a second. So I just want to send a big shout out just to say hello to everyone. I hope that you are doing well, and everything. And man, this information I'm sharing with you today, I it's very eye-opening that they did this and found that John G. Jones, it was true that he held the patent. It was true that he produced the patent. Now, here's the question. Where is it? Don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you where the patent is at. I don't know. I don't have a clue of where it's at. But I do know for a fact that it was produced and shown. That's a fact. It was written. Like I said before, during that time, the internet was your newspaper, and the Washington Bee was one of the leading newspapers of that time. Greetings, everybody. So just a recap of what's been happening here today. I'm just sharing information in regards to John G. Jones, and the fact that he had shown his patent to the White Shriners, and they agreed that he was that guy, that he had the authority to make Shriners, to set up and organize temples. He had that authority. And then what I did is that I went forth and I read the article in its entirety, where clearly it questioned the authority of the White Shriners while giving legitimacy to John G. Jones. Now, some people are going to say, oh, that can't be true. That can't be true. No, this is why I said before, go back, and I told you where you can go find this information at and read it for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. It's out there. This information has been out there for God knows how long. It's the ideal of people going back, searching and finding this information. And when you find it, it gives you a wow moment. It gives you that moment of like, damn, this has been out here that long and nobody really brought it up. Yeah, it's been out there for that long and nobody really brought it up. And so go get it. It is there for the taking. It's there for anyone to read and decipher it for themselves. All right. You don't have to take my word for it. Go do it for yourself. And I guarantee you, once you have done that work, once you have done your own research, your mind is going to have to change on some issues and some things. Man, I'm looking for one more article that I think is going to be great. I have it here. I'm going to pull up this article. I'm going to read another article for you. That's going to kind of have you at awe. Okay? Hold on. No, that's not it. What if I told you that I'm going to have to go back. I really got this here. What if I told you that what if I told you that the Supreme Council of Louisiana, and John G. Jones had recognition amongst themselves, their Supreme Councils? What if I told you that? I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Supreme Council of Louisiana. It is one of the oldest Supreme Councils in the United States. But what if I told you that John G. Jones and the Supreme Council of Louisiana actually had at that time amity with each other? What if I told you that? And I know some of you are going to be like, oh, that can be true. Oh, yeah, that was true too. That was certainly true, you know. And I'm going to tell you where you can find it. And I'm going to send this to brother. I'm going to send this to a particular brother so he can read it for himself, because he's going to probably say, Brother Hawkins, you'll wash your mind. No, I didn't. It's information, bro. It's information that's probably been out there so long, and it's just out there that people haven't read that for themselves. So I'm gonna read this to you. I gotta go in this book. I'm gonna find it, and I want to share with you, because I know that some of you are not going to believe it for yourselves, but it is the Supreme Council of Louisiana. And John G. Jones did indeed have recognition between both of those jurisdictions, those sovereign jurisdictions. Okay. And this was in 1903. 1903, mind you, what was happening in 1903? I just need for you to go back and check your dates. 1903. All right. Wow. I mean, I gotta find this article real quick. I'm gonna find this article and I'm going to read it to you. And you can, and this also can be found in the Washington Bee. Okay, 1903. The same information I'm reading to you again can be found in the Washington Bee. If I come across another date, I will tell you so. But right now, that's the date I have. Okay. Okay. So check this out. It says August the 22nd, August the 22nd, 1896. August 20, remember this date, August 22nd, 1896. All right. It says colored Masons recognized by their white brethren. Okay. By their white brethren. Greetings to everybody who's about to come on. I'm just dropping some gems from the quarries today. It says the Supreme Council of the Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite, 33rd of the state of Louisiana, in the jurisdiction, which is a white body of Mason, is composed of some of the leading white Scottish Rite Masons in this country. The Supreme Council of the state of Louisiana has a membership of over 5,000 members. This is 1896, mind you. They have officially recognized the Color United Supreme Council of the Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite of the 33rd for the Southern and Western Masonic jurisdiction of the United States, Grand Orient, Washington, D.C. It goes on to state this Supreme Council has some of the following cultures and distinguished Masons connected with it. Okay, and then it gives you a list of names of those Masons, including John G. Jones, who is the most puissant sovereign Grand Commander. It says this Supreme Council is presided over by the illustrious John G. Jones, 33rd, who is the sovereign Grand Commander. These two Supreme Councils of the Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite, okay, have exchanged representatives. The illustrious O.B. Duran, 33rd of Louisiana, who is one of the most prominent white Masons in the United States. Go look him up. And then it says of Louisiana, it has been appointed and commissioned as a representative of the United States, of the United Supreme Council of Washington, D.C., of Washington, D.C. And then it says the Supreme Council for the state of Louisiana, the illustrious Dorsey F. Flemings, Dorsey S. Seville, Dorsey S. Seville. He's the secretary under Jones at the time. It says 33rd degree, Washington, D.C., who is the Grand Secretary of the United Supreme Council, and who is a very highly leading Mason, has been appointed, commissioned as a representative to the Supreme Council of Louisiana by John G. Jones. This is when Seville and Jones was working together. Now, we all know that Seville and Jones had they fallen out. We know that. But at this time, in August 27, 1896, they had a relationship with the Supreme Council of Louisiana. They had that relationship. That's something that you can Think about it. I just need for you to think about the moves that was being made at that time. Not only during this same time did the white Shriners legitimately say that that guy, John G. Jones, is the it factor, okay? Not only did that happen, the Supreme Council of Louisiana was working hand in hand with John G. Jones. Both of them had exchanged ambassadors or representatives so they can have this conversation. They did that, okay? So that's something that, as I began to share some of these gems with you, that you need to really think about John G. Jones in a different factor. I mean, some of you are going to say, well, during this time, he was a member of the Grand Lodge of Illinois, Prince Hall. But you got to remember, you have to add to that. He's the most puissant sovereign grand commander of the Southern and Western Masonic jurisdiction at this time. What happened between him and Thornton E. Jackson? Because at this time, 1896. There's a whole lot of things that have happened. I'm just sharing with you some of the gems that I've come across. So I want you to go back and research and take a look for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. I can tell you exactly where to go. August 22nd, the Washington Bee, 1896. That's where you can find this information at. Hold on, I'm not done yet. I just want to just get you into the flow of the things that I'm dropping off some gems for you to go back after reviewing this particular video and go back and do your own research. All right? Go back and just check it out for yourself, because the more you come across information, man, it is like just unfreaking real. Really, it's like, wow. You have that wow moment, you know? You have that wow moment. I'm gonna share this with you. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another gem. Okay, so this is from the 1904. This is from 1904. This is from the Watch Searchlight. Okay, Wichita, Kansas. All right, go look at this newspaper. All right, the Watch It Searchlight, Wichita, Kansas. This is in 1901. 1901. Now, mind you, in 1903, Judge Jones was supposed to have been expelled. That's the history that's been written. But I'm gonna share this with you because I need for you to go back and find this for yourself and read it for yourself. And as I said, I'll send this out to you. I don't have no crumbs about it, but check this out. Oh my God. It says the White Grand Lodge of the state of New York recognizes a colored Grand Lodge, state of Illinois. Hear me clearly. 1901, January the 2nd. All right. It says the White Grand Lodge of the state of New York recognizes a colored Grand Lodge in the state of Illinois. Now, which one do you think it is? I wait. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to open up the call line. I'm going to open up the call line because I know somebody got some questions. I can't read everything that's in here, but check it out. So if you want to call in, this is the call in number right here. Call that number and we can have this conversation. And I can tell you where to find the information at. Okay. So the question is, which Grand Lodge gave recognition to a Grand Lodge of Illinois in 1901? 1901. All right. I'm going to read this article to you. And it says, here come those. It says, here, heroes come from those that labor and wait. For the first time in the history of masonry, that a color masons in the state of Illinois has been officially recognized by any white masons, Grand Lodge, ancient free and accepted mason in the United States on Friday, okay, December the 11th, 1903. John G. Jones, the Grand Secretary of the most wishful St. John's Grand Lodge, ancient free and accepted Mason, which is incorporated under the state law of the state of Illinois, and Brother William Gray, Grand Master, okay, of Grand Master, that the Grand Lodge of White Masons, ancient free and accepted Masons, state of New York, which has a membership of several thousands of the most highly cultural, wealthy white Masons in the country, has considered the application of recognition and exchange of representatives, and that they have officially recognized the most wishful St. John's Grand Lodge, a color lodge, ancient, free, and accepted Masons, the state of Illinois. This advancement in legitimacy, step by step, by white Masons of New York, which the Grand Lodge in New York is affiliated with nearly all of the white Grand Lodges of the ancient, free, and accepted Masons in this country, shows that prejudice amongst the white Masons is in some sections of the United States is rapidly dying out, and that they may well soon adhere to the fundamental principles of Masonry, believing in the brotherhood of man, the fatherhood of God. It is with therefore make no difference of whether Mr. Jones of Chicago has placed all the Masons or not, has his remarkable works in the advancement and promoting in the interest of Masonry in the United States must be forever highly appreciated by all legitimate Masons in this country, and must be acknowledged as a great Mason worldwide. If you want this article, I'll email that to you. Put your email in that article. Put your email for that article. I'll get that to you. Come on now. Yes, it is called the Watch It Searchlight. Okay, the year, and it's from Wichita, Kansas. Okay, the year is 19. Okay, I said 1901 in the beginning. My apologies. The year is 1904. Okay, number 32. This is number 32. So the year is January the 2nd, 1904. This is from the Watcher. As a matter of fact, let me put this up. There you go. It's that article right there. Okay? So I don't want you saying that brother Tony Muhammad, whatever you want to call me. That's not good information. No. As I said before, brothers of the craft, sisters of the order, this information comes from legitimate newspaper sources of that time, because we all know that when you print things in the newspaper of that time, it's like the web, it's like the internet of today. If you wasn't getting a newspaper at your home, you didn't know what was going on. You did not know. And that's the truth. You did not know. So look, if you got any questions you want to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so. Let's have the conversation. Because this happened, as I said, this was written January the 2nd, 1904. Okay? Now, here's the kicker behind all of that. It was actually December 19th, 1903, okay, that this actually went out. December the 11th, 1903, the exact date. That's the exact date, okay? Oh, let's see what else we got in here for you today. I think this is going to be very, very interesting. Also, did you know that W.E. Du Bois and John G. Jones did not get along? They did not too much care for each other. they really had it in for each other. All right, here's another one for you. All righty. Here's another jewel for you. I'll send you this one too. Okay, this, and I'm going to get ready to go in just a few minutes, but I just need for you to think for a moment. Okay, we often say, or it has been often said, that John G. Jones, that fraction of Masons were supposed to have received their charter from the Grand Lodge of Romania. I'm going to say this. As far as I know of, that never happened. John G. Jones, H.C. Scott, as far as I know of, I've never seen any document that clearly says that he received a charter from the Grand Lodge of Romania. I haven't seen that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if that ever happened. It's been written down and said that H.C. Scott, who was a diplomat, received a charter for 3 lodges, and then they went on the charter such and such as a Grand Lodge. That I didn't find that information in any newspaper articles I've been looking for during that time. I have not come across any of that. That has been something that's been passed down word of mouth or word or however. I can't prove that. I can't. As a brother who's a member of the ancient free and accepted Masons, and my Grand Lodge is named after John G. Jones, I don't have any proof that actually occurred. Okay, it's just something that's been passed down, it's been written, it's been handed down, and that's as far as I've gotten. I don't have anything tangible. Okay, but what I do have tangible, I will share it. And like I said, the newspapers of that time and of that day, they were the it factor. Okay, they were the ones who was putting out that information. Okay, they were that one. Okay, I'm gonna share this with you just for a second. Okay, now this is something that you can hang your hat on. This is a jewel. Okay, and this is where the the idea of Masonic recognition comes into play with the Grand Lodge of Romania. This is what I found, okay? And I'm gonna share this with you. So you say, what is this brother reading? Okay, I'm gonna share it with you. All right, I'm reading that. That's what I'm reading right there. Okay, I'm gonna read that. All right, it says Masonic note: White Masons recognize color Masons. The Supreme Council of the Supreme Council of the Colored Scottish Rite of the 33rd United States of America is recognized by the Supreme Council Scottish Rite of Romania. It goes on to say, good news has reached the color Masons here in the United States. They are congratulating each other upon the efforts. The White Supreme Council of Romania, which body is composed of entirely white Masons, okay, among who are some of the most learned and scholarly Masons in that country. Romania is a kingdom in the southeast of Europe and has a population over 6 million people. They officially recognize the United Supreme Council of the ancient, except the Scottish Rite, color Masons for the southern and western Masonic jurisdiction of the United States of America, its territories and independence, okay, which is presided over by the illustrious John G. Jones, 33rd, Chicago, Illinois, who is the sovereign grand commander. And this thing is it in it says these two distinguished bodies, okay, of the Scottish Rite Masons have been preparing for some time to recognize each other, but it was accommodated. The correspondence was conducted by the illustrious John G. Jones of Chicago. They have also extended him a fraternal and cordial invitation to visit their country and attend the next annual session of their Supreme Council, which will be held in 1902. Okay, it goes on and says, prejudice amongst people all over the land is now rapidly dying, and the people are thriving are thriving, okay, and masonry who believe in the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man. Now, as I said, I can send you that article too. So this happened in 1902. This is right before the expulsion of Jones from the Grand Lodge of Illinois. In the article I read from you before that was in 1903 when the White Grand Lodge of New York gave recognition to the Grand Lodge of Illinois. Okay, as I said before, the newspaper of that time, they were clearly the internet of today. If it wasn't written in the newspaper, it didn't happen. I have not found anywhere yet where the Grand Lodge of New York denied that article. I have not found anywhere yet where the Supreme Council of Romania has denied this article. Okay, I'm just saying this information is out there. I just want to share with you because I feel that sometimes we get so caught up in all of the other stuff that's been going on until we fail to do our own research and come across great information to be able to share. Whether you agree with me or not, this information has always been out there. I want to give a big shout out to the brothers who have actually gone and dug this information up. One of them, Brother Travis, St. Joseph Grand Lodge of Texas. This brother's really done a lot of work. Brother Kevin, Brother Amos, out of New Jerusalem Grand Lodge, done a lot of work. And I can say, you know, put in that work, you find this information, and you be like, well, damn, what's really going on? You know? Okay, I'm gonna see. Brother Charles, I can call it cloudy where I'm at. I will have to call you when the sun come up. Greetings, brothers, and greetings to everybody that's coming on. Peace, Terrell. What's happening with you? Until everybody else. Charles, what's up? So this information, as I said, I don't mind sharing it, but this is information that's already been out there. I just wanted to share it with you so you can read it and see it for yourself. Okay. When we talk about who's legitimate, who's not, I mean, this thing can go on for years. Some, it's going to have to come a time when you're going to have to set aside your ignorance, when you're going to have to set aside your prejudice, your bigotry, and really appreciate Freemasonry and what it stands for, and how each of us can enjoy this very thing that we all say we love so much. This Society of Freemasonry and the Order of the Eastern Star, I mean, it is a great organization to be part of, but there are members in the various jurisdictions across the borders, across all jurisdictions who clearly don't get it. They clearly don't get what the organization is all about because they're too hell bent on destroying the next organization. And yes, I will say this. Do I like seeing other Grand Lodges, what I've been told, pop up? I don't. But I'm not the police of masonry. I may not like the fact that John down the street and Billy Bob down the street have opened a new Grand Lodge. I may not like it, but I'm not the police of Freemasonry. I'm not. Period. And I let them brothers do what they do. And if they can be better men, better brothers, better husbands, better person because of Freemasonry, who am I to interfere with that work? Because it works for them. Who am I? To tell them, oh, you're not a Mason. I don't have no total amenity, or I don't own Freemasonry. I enjoy Freemasonry. So if those brothers have proved themselves to be worthy and well qualified to be who they say they are, they have been initiated, passed, and raised as Masons. Who am I to stand in the way? Greetings to everybody who's coming on. I may not have read some of your questions, but I'm getting to them as best I can. Let me see. What was the issue with John G. Jones and W.E. Du Bois? Well, Jones believed that, okay, this is W.D. Bois. He was real soft on white people. He didn't really go hard at them. John G. Jones went hard at them. He felt that, hey, you guys owed us. You guys has put us in this position. You owe us. You got to pay up. He believed in reparations. That's what Jones believed in. He believed in reparations. W.E. Du Bois did not. You got to remember, W. Bois was a Prince Hall Mason at that time. John G. Jones was not. So there was a clash within the Masonic circle and outside of the Masonic circle as far as education and thought process. Let me see. Peace and blessings to everybody who's coming on right now. I don't plan to be on for very long, just another 15 minutes. But the information I've shared with you while I've been here, I want you to go back and check it out. I want you to put your email address. I'm going to put my email address in here again, and I'm going to try to get this out to you today. You can hit me up at this email address. I just put it in here, and I will get you this information that I've just read today. And you can definitely have it for yourself. Keep it in your archives, and I guarantee you it's going to make you think, and I want to do that. Hold on just a second, real quick. Because the more you do that, it's different. There you go. I'll save that. So I hope everybody has gotten something out of this and what I've covered, just so you know. Let me see. I'm gonna go back. I may have to correct myself real quick. Hold on. Okay, I owed an apology. Okay, I went reading down some more. It wasn't um, it wasn't W.E. Du Bois that Jones had the issue with. I'm correcting myself. It wasn't W.E. Du Bois. It was Booker T. Washington. Jones had an issue with Booker T. Washington. Okay, that's who he had his issue with, and it was dealing with education. It was dealing also with lynching. Okay, it was dealing with education and it was dealing with lynching. That's where they went in at each other. It wasn't W.E. Du Bois, it was Booker T. Washington. Okay, that's who Jones had his issue with. All right, my apologies on that misinformation, but that is correction for it. All right, that is the correction. If you want to call in the next few minutes and have that conversation, please do. That number is 619-286-0642. If you want to call in and you want to discuss what I'm reading, where I got this information at, you're certainly welcome to do so. I believe that this information is very important to a lot of Masons in general, and you can definitely get it from there. I mean, uh, just give me a call on the next 15 minutes. If you're just tuning in, today we was talking about gems from the quarries, uh, color recognized Masons, and what John G. Jones had accomplished during his time, you know. And I think once you get into the life of the man and the Masonic works that he did, you're gonna be at awe. You're gonna be that Mason that says, "Well, damn, why did I know this in the beginning? How come nobody never told me this?" A lot of times people don't tell you a lot of stuff. I'm gonna share this with you. You can find this in Jet Magazine. You can find this in Jet Magazine. Hello.
Aren't that Anthony Muhammad?
Yeah. This is me. Go ahead, talk to me.
Hey, I sent you the questions about the boys and brother John G. Jones, but you did correct it and say that it was Booker T. It was Frederick Douglass. I mean Booker T. Washington that he had the issues with.
Right.
Okay, so I got that part. I just want to know, like, because I came in late. What are you reading so that I can do a little bit more research on that? Because that is fascinating, brother.
Okay, so there was a book. It's not in print no more. It's not in print no more. And brother Travis, brother Tave from St. Joseph Grand Lodge wrote a book some years ago and compiled all of this information. And the name of the book, and like I said, it's not in print anymore. It's called Fremo Retro. This is the name of the book. Now he does have another book out there, which is very similar to this one. It just doesn't have all of that information that this does. When this brother put together this particular book, he was in a trance. Bruh, he was somewhere else. He was on a whole nother planet when he put this together. He himself have yet to even say how he came up with a lot of this information. And I'm amazed. I mean, he and I went back and forth on a lot of this information, and he just said, "Okay, I got it." And when he said that, he ran with it. He took it, he built it. And I think this book is about maybe 600 pages or more. It's over 600 pages. Okay, it's over 600 pages. I think this book here is 750 pages. It's not in print anymore. You may want to personally contact him. He's a member of St. Joseph Grand Lodge of Texas, and he might be able to assist you. But I don't know if you'll be able to get this particular book. This is a keeper. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a keeper. But a lot of the information he did get, he got it from newspaper articles. He went back, he did the research himself and got it from newspaper articles. What else you got from? What you got? You still there, bro? Okay. I must have lost him. But anyway, so I'm gonna share this with you real quick because I think it's very important. Is that let me see. Jet Magazine printed an article about John G. Jones and who he was as a man. Okay. You might want to pick that up. I'm looking for the year for this Jet Magazine. I can show you what the cover looks like. I'm just looking for the year. That's the cover of a Jet Magazine with John G. Jones' picture on it. Okay. I just don't have the year. I'm trying to find the year to this. Just trying to find the year. Oh, it'll come. I'm gonna keep looking and see if I can find the year, but it's gonna happen. I'll definitely have to look for it some more. So, if you want to call in while I'm here, you got questions, please do give a shout out. Let me know, and we can definitely make that happen. We can definitely do that. So let me see. I want to share something else with you real quick. That I think would, I know this would be definitely helpful to you. Definitely that. Because there's so much out there. There's a lot of information out there. I'm just sharing information with you that I've come across. Okay, this is the last one for the day. This is from 1914. This is the B. This is the Washington B, 1914. I'm reading this article right here. This is from the Washington B, okay? 1914. All right. So it says the General Masonic Congress. The General Masonic Congress for the United States and Canada will convene in Washington, D.C., July the 16th to the 21st at the Masonic Hall, 1719 Pennsylvania Avenue, at the Hall of the Most Wishful Grand Lodge, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons of America, and in the Masonic Federation Incorporated. The President, W.T.M. Grant, 33rd of New Orleans, Louisiana, would open the Congress first day session July 16th of the Symbolic Masons. Okay, so this is from the Washington B, 1914. This is 2 years after John G. Jones passed. This is why you've heard me say this. It wasn't after. It was totally after 1914, after John G. Jones' death, that the implosion of the Black Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons began to take place. After Jones's death, it was a wrap. It was a free-for-all. It was like nothing nobody has ever seen and continue to see today. It was just, it was done, because Jones was such a figure of his time. No one dared to like cross him up, So after his death, you see the various other Supreme Councils begin to pop up in regards to the Southern and Western, because Jones wasn't there anymore. He was done, Super Stalin, what's going on? Hello, great. So, when he died, man, it was sad. I mean, and this is the remnants of Jones' death. all of the black ancient free and accepted Masons, the ones that come out of the shadows, and this is the remnants of his death. You know, let's be clear that it is not whether who's legitimate or not. This is because there was no stability. There was really no one that had a real hold on the pulse of the people. Jones had that hold, and after his death, it was a free for all. Okay, let me get back to this article right here. It says that William T. Grant of New Orleans will open the Congress first day session July 16th of the Symbolic Masons. And then it says the second day, the General Grand Chapter of the Royal Lodge and Knights Templars. The third day, devotional service, St. John's Day. On the fourth day, the Supreme Council of the OES, followed by following by the banquet and delegates. It just gives you a breakdown of exactly what was taking place at that time. So this is after the death of John G. Jones. You now find W.T. Grant, who's the president of the General Grand Masonic Congress, and S.D. Seville. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna say this. S.D. Seville is the past Grand Master for the Grand Lodge of Washington, D.C. And at this time, John G. Jones, 33rd, who had died in June and was buried January the 10th. It was a free for all because in some cases I read Steelyard became the most puissant after Jones's death, and that was from 1914 to 1916. As I read this article, it tells me that Grant is the president of the General Grand Masonic Congress of that time. And, it's like, wow, a whole lot of things are happening. Oh, yeah. Thank you for tuning in. I'm not going to be here long. I got about 3 minutes to go, but I just wanted to share this information with you. And if I can email it to you, get it to you, you can read it for yourself. That'll be great. I encourage every brother, every sister, when someone presents you with something, go back and research it for yourself. If they can't give you the information, go back and research it for yourself and come to your own conclusion. Therefore, if nobody can take the very thing that you went and found from you, they can add to it, but they can't take it away. And that's what I find that is very important. Oh, okay. I hope that you're feeling better. Definitely. The operative word is free. That's a good one, Brother Benson. That's a good one. The operative word is free. Deanna, I hope that you're feeling better. Definitely want to keep you in my prayers. Didn't know that you was under the weather, but now that I do, I will certainly do that. You found the article? Great. I'm glad you found that article. I found out I had deleted it. I found out, oh, you had diabetes. Oh, man. Sleep. Oh, girl. Look. I know we're talking about Masonic stuff, but for a minute, everyone who's on here, please, whatever you do, take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Get your checkups. Go get your physicals, please. I mean, you got to do that for yourself. You got to do that for your family. And another thing, get yourself a life insurance policy. Please do that for yourself and your family. You do not want your family looking around begging Cash App and all of these other apps to bury you. If you're going to leave your family better off in a position for which you was in, a life insurance policy, be it term life or be it whole life, please get that. Get that for your family. And yes, sister, please take care of yourself. Can I add an appendant to your lodge? I created 21 degrees. I don't know if you can add that to my lodge and you created 21 degrees, You know what? We can have a conversation. I don't mind about that because all the works of Freemasonry in the degree works that you may find is very interesting. So yeah, Super Starlings #3. Yeah, I mean, shit, you never know. You never know. I'm interested in that. How do I get a charter? You got to get a charter from a lodge. A lodge would charter another. I mean, you got to get a charter from a Grand Lodge. The Grand Lodge charters that Blue Lodge. That's how you get a charter. People who go to states and get a business license or a charter, that's how you do it. But we don't, but the business license from a state only gives you the authority to do business in a state. But if you're talking about a Masonic charter, must come from a Grand Lodge. Okay, must come from a Grand Lodge. So look, my time is up. I want to thank everybody for coming on. And if you're going to do anything for your family, if you're going to leave them in a better position, hello. Guess they didn't want anything. But if you're ever going to leave your family in a better position, please get yourself a life insurance policy, term life or whole life. Look into that. Take care of your family while you're here. So when you're gone, you know that they're going to be well taken care of. So with that being said, I want to say it's been great hanging out with you. My time is up. Peace and be well. Merry Christmas to you as we come to that holiday. Please don't get broke trying to buy gifts because you got bills at the end of the month. Whatever you do, stay out the bushes and keep your light on. I'm out.